What's up, guys? If you haven't subscribed to Maddie or my channel yet, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We are doing this to be able to share with you a webinar that we are doing on anxiety together. We are both large mental health creators. If you haven't found us on TikTok yet, you're missing out on a lot. But it's all about mental health, mental illness, suicide awareness, just helping kids, helping adults just fight through everyday life. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel and you're new and you're just seeing this video for some reason, well, there's a reason behind it. So hit that like and subscribe button. What is up, Maddie? How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to make this announcement, and it's been so hard to not blab it out to everyone 50 times.
I know, and you've been working on this really hard too.
Yeah.
2 nights.
What sleep?
Exactly. Like I was surprised even this morning you were up when you were.
We wanted to get it rolling. It's just been such an exciting thing, and so many people have asked you and I to do this that it's like we're finally doing it.
We finally have it going on, and we get to have 3 hours, which will probably roll over longer with the Q&A. But I'm just sharing with people about anxiety tools, anxiety coping skills, anxiety everything. I mean, I know that you work with a lot of kids. I mean, how many kids do you have that hit you? What would you say is the percent of kids that hit you up about anxiety over everything else?
All of them. It all stems from, hey, I've got anxiety and I want to kill myself. For, hey, I've got anxiety, I am depressed, or that kind of stuff. Hey, I have anxiety, now I'm developing an eating disorder. So I say all of my messages contain it in some sort.
Right. No, same here. Out of all the adults and teens and everybody who's ever hit me up, I would say over half, easily over half, is all strictly hey, anxiety is a huge role of it. And everybody, it's funny because everyone hits up about it, because the only coping that I've ever had anybody tell me that they've ever been given by a therapist typically is breathing.
In a square.
Oh yeah, the square. That is true.
And I mean, I tell them that, but at the end of the day, I know when you're in crisis, breathing in a square is not going to do anything.
Right.
You're going to have to find something else.
You have to find something else. And that's why I'm excited to be able to just share exactly what we've gone through, because I know that you struggle about anxiety. I don't think you're quite as open about it yet as I am. But it's going to be awesome to be able to hear just 2 different people's perspectives on it.
And 2 people who don't know your situation, who are telling you from an outside position, it's okay to have anxiety. Your feelings towards being anxious are valid,
Right, and they are very valid, and that's one of the hardest things too, is because so many people, I think they confuse, and tell me if I'm wrong, but they confuse being anxious. You want to ask a girl out, or you want to ask a guy out on a date. You're anxious, so your palms are sweaty. Maybe your armpits are a little sweaty, and you have those butterflies in your stomach. Well, there's a huge difference versus actually true anxiety, where you are freaking out inside, throwing up, anxiety attacks, crying, hiding in the bathroom at school so nobody sees you, completely just melt down.
Right. No, and I think it's great that these kids are finally going to see people who care and are cheering them on, and just hearing everything we have to talk about. We've got a whole lineup. I
know, that's the coolest thing, is we have a whole lineup and I think what part are you most excited about?
Honestly, so the way we're doing this, you guys, is we're doing it through Zoom. We were going to send a link, but you guys asked us. You were like, hey, I don't want a link. I want to interact with you guys. And there's only 100 tickets. That way there's not a massive amount of people. And we're going to turn on Zoom. We're going to live record it. We're going to interact with you guys. And that's what I'm more excited about. I think out of all of it, it's just that my favorite part of TikTok is interacting with you guys. And just, we're going to be sitting there answering your questions, There's certain topics that I can't talk about while I'm in school because it's, I'm not legally a therapist yet. But in a group setting, we are able to touch more things because we're a group and it's not considered a therapeutic session.
Exactly. And even with me, I mean, I do the same thing. I let everybody know I'm not a doctor. I'm not a counselor. I mean, I know this stuff just because I struggle with it.
Right.
And I had to learn, instead of reading a book about it, I got to enjoy having it and living with it. And, to have that group environment where it isn't, hey, we're going to give you any kind of therapy. It's not that. It's, hey, this is how we made it through it.
Yeah.
It might help you.
Hey, we've been through some crap. Let us give you the advice to get you to where we're at today. Not textbook, here's what you do through coping through a textbook.
Right. And that's the hardest thing is, I mean, everything through a textbook, I mean, anything that you learn in life through a textbook. It's not how the real world is.
Mm-mm.
You know, I've never found anywhere in a textbook of, what do you do when an anxiety attack hits and you're at a party? Or what do you do when an anxiety attack hits and you're in a car? What do you do? I mean, because it happens.
Right. Or you're like Grace, who I say, "Hey, let's go to the bar," and then she gets sick and doesn't want to go out because she doesn't recognize she has social anxiety, you know? Or
Hmm.
like for me, my big thing is going into massive crowds. There was so long and a large portion of my life that I just always blamed it to the fact that I just like, it was just a lot of people and it just wasn't my scene. And then when I got into it, I was like, no, this is anxiety. Like I'm sitting there freaking out in front of this group of people, you know?
Hmm. And that's the hard thing, because then you kind of make up excuses and you're like, well, no, I'm just kind of a hermit, or I just like to kind of be by myself, because you don't even want to explain to anybody, well, this is what I actually go through. Because then all of a sudden you get the judgment and you get people who are going, oh, so I have that too. You'll just get over it. Trust me, it gets easier. What are you talking about?
No, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But if you find the right ways to work around it, it does get easier. And I think
Well,
that's a lot of what it comes down to.
and I think for you and I too, we're not pushing medicine. We're not pushing admitting yourself. We're not pushing a recovery, you're going to be recovered, boom, fixed. Like, we're telling you the straight facts. Like, look, you could go through some shit. It's going to be rough. But you know what? You can get through it. Here's how we got through it. That kind of stuff.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing, is people have asked me before, like, how did you get rid of your depression? How did you get rid of your anxiety and all that? And it's like, no, I live with it every single day.
Right.
It's still here, but I've learned how to manage it so it doesn't manage me, and I can manage my own life and not have it be a problem in my life. And there's times even still where it does creep through and it does get too much, but it's few and far in between compared to not knowing how to manage it at all. And I'm living in constant just fear and impending doom that everything's going to go wrong and everything's going to collapse.
100%, And I think and I always tell the kids there's two parts. There's wanting help and accepting help. Wanting help is a whole different ballgame than accepting it. You might want help, but until you're truly ready to, find happiness and accept it, that's a whole nother story. And that's what we're trying to get these kids to, is to that point where they're like, okay, you're right. I shouldn't be embarrassed. I do need help.
Right. Or even what you do when you're at your therapist and you're trying to explain to them or explain to somebody what it's like to have anxiety. I mean, that's the hardest thing I think to do, is to try and tell somebody else that I have depression and anxiety, because you are hit with so much people trying to fix you almost, because we don't know how to communicate with them. Like, this is how I struggle.
Right.
Instead, they're going, well, this is what I do and this is what you need to do. And then all of a sudden, if you don't do it, all of a sudden you're losing friends. You feel like your family's disappointed or you're a burden on your family, because we're not taught how to communicate what our struggle really is.
Well, and the kids get so upset with their parents' reactions, and I get it. It's valid, but I try to drill in their brains that like their generation is not as mental health conscious or aware as we are today. Like my parents grew up in the era of you're sad, you're fine, move on. It's good. Just keep going. Like that's embedded in their heads because that's what their generation was. Our generation's like, "Oh no, that upsets me." And like let me break this down and let me process my emotions and let's separate how I'm feeling and stuff. Like we're so mental health aware that it's just a whole different ball game. So I try to tell kids, look, and we're going to talk about this there, is like here's how you can approach it. You need to approach it probably a little different if they're reacting this way, and just understand where they're coming from.
Right, because the hardest part too is even, like, we want the instant results. We want it instantly taken care of, and for a lot of times people don't realize that, like, again, there's no fix it all. There's no quick fix it, and it's a process, and it does require a lot of patience. And if you're doing the right steps to it, eventually life gets that much easier. I mean, to show you, I mean, the dings that you hear are very few because my phone's actually turned off, but those are iPhones texting me, because that's how many texts I get a day
That's
of people
crazy.
asking for help, because people don't understand where to get help at. I mean, to do this right now, I literally turned my phone off and somehow it's hitting into my phone or my computer with the iPhone.
I think it's so
iMessage.
great. Like, I mean, but I just want people to take a second and like realize like we've dedicated our whole lives to this now. Like, I get up, you get up, we film, we call each other, we start planning. Like, we have discords. You help me get my discord going. Like our life is literally dedicated to constantly helping you guys. And like I don't think there's a second, which is really bad. There's not 5 minutes in a day that I don't have my phone and I'm not literally on the phone helping someone. So like
Oh,
it's
agree.
our life now.
And it is, and that's why I'm excited to do this with you because one, we like anybody who signs up for it gets a PDF of like the bullet points, which is great. But I think most people are like you and I, where you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool, whatever. But to have an audio recording of it, to have the video recording of it, so if you are in the car or you are at school and you can't remember some of the coping, you can actually listen to it and get it right at your fingertips instead of going, hey, I remember some of this great stuff, but I'm in crisis mode now and I'm not really thinking straight. All you have to do is hit the audio recording or hit the video recording and you can watch us actually doing this and walking you through.
Right. And my favorite thing is I love podcasts, first off. I am the biggest podcast guru, and Greece doesn't even understand the concept of just listening. But like for me, I will literally be in the shower listening to podcasts, driving, podcasts, sitting here, podcasts, like texting you, podcasts. So like just to have that audio recording where you're listening to two calming voices telling you you're valid is just, to me, that's what I'm more excited about, is these kids are just gonna be able to go, pop, here it is, and just listen.
Right. And they'll get the help at any given time when they're struggling to go, wait a minute. That's right. This is okay. This is why my parents are acting this way. This is what I should do. This will make the situation easier, or with my friends. And then even that constant reminder that no, my friends aren't all leaving me. Nobody's leaving me. I'm not a burden to anybody because this is how anxiety works in our brain. Uh,
Right.
and I think that those tools alone, will tremendously help somebody. I mean, I've always wanted to be able to give all the information I could to help somebody else out.
And I just believe that I believe in fate and I believe in things happen for a reason. And I truly believe that the day I woke up and was like, I have to contact this guy, like that was God's sign or the powers that be or the universe's sign to be like, look, here's this other human. Together, you guys can end this stigma and take on the world together. And that's the beginning of this beautiful project.
Oh, it is, and that's the whole thing too. Is it's like out of anybody that's ever reached out to me to collab and do stuff with, like I told myself a while back, like I will never really do any collabs or anything with anyone. But meeting you, I mean, you ended up having a lot of the same views that I had in the sense of very open-mindedness, because I think that there's so many different angles of it that you have to be really, really open-minded when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to mental health, that there is no right way, wrong way, anyway. It's people trying to make a difference. And you had already started some of the things that I had done with, starting, you had Group Me or what it was.
Right. Yeah,
And I
you
was
texted
trying
me,
to
you're like,
explain to you what
why are you
Discord
doing group meet? And I was like, what? And I'm like, well, I just wanted to create a safe space. And you're like, what tore you away from Discord? I'm like, I don't know what that is. And you're like, no, no, no. Your life's about to get a million times better. Let me show you.
Let's make life easier. Let's help people in an easier fashion
Right. Yeah,
than
because we were
stressful.
doing 4 chats of 500 people,
Hmm. Oh yeah,
which
and
is
and
crazy.
and it's insane. And it was funny when I was in there because I loved seeing the support and everything that was going back and forth, and just the friendship and the kindness. And it was like, oh, it would be so much easier in this program, and then you can have your own little rooms and you can talk to people easier.
Yeah, it's great. It's literally amazing.
And it's actually going to be awesome to be able to do this where like my initial scare was like, we're going to do this seminar and it's kind of like, Skyping, Zooming, what have you, but we actually get to be together doing
Yeah,
it, and it's so different when you are, together with somebody to be able to share this versus, doing it even like this,
but
digital of like, hey, it's great and all, but this will be so much even more impactful.
right. So if you guys haven't heard or just tuning into this YouTube video, it's $75. The link will be in our video description, and you get an audio version, a video version, an outline, and we've talked about throwing in a picture for fun, and you're going to be able to watch us live and communicate with us through Zoom in a small, intimate, group setting online. So we just want to do something to thank you guys and start really reaching out and helping you.
You guys aren't alone. Everybody has requested this, so we finally decided to put it together and do it so that you guys get the support and everything that you want, and you have something that's tangible, and you're not trying to surf through our TikToks or through our YouTube videos to try and find the information. You're able to just have it at your fingertips now, always. And you get to participate where maybe you're afraid to ask your therapist or a counselor at school about it. We're not that. You can ask us anything and
Yeah.
we'll help you.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, link them or ask them in the comment section. I'll try to pay a little more attention to them, go through them. But yeah, we love you guys.
Love you guys. So hit that like and subscribe button. We love
Yes,
you.
do that.